So we've all heard that one of the things married people fight about is money. And Andy Mattingly from our sponsor, Forum Credit Union, is here, and he does not want that to happen to you. So Andy is going to give us some tools to make your way towards relationship bliss. Andy, welcome as always. How you doing?
Thank you for letting me come on again.
I like that we both got the blue jacket
Yes,
memo.
we do.
Can I get a chair, please? I just feel like that would just be nice if we're... Thank you, Eric. Awesome. Hey, so Andy, we're talking about relationship bliss. What are some of the important ways for couples to build financial harmony together?
Well, it all kind of starts with that kind of open and honest communication. So, you know, one of the things is share all your previous financial history, because maybe you decide that you're going to buy a house together and then you find out someone's filed bankruptcy and they didn't tell you.
Yikes.
Now, if you know about it, you can start working on it ahead of time, or, you know, share ideas about, you know, if you want to have kids or not, or when you want to retire, or how you want to spend your money. Those are all important things to do early on in a relationship, once you know it's going to kind of be serious.
The sharing the family experience is a really important one, because sometimes, you know, coming into a relationship not knowing who the spender is, who the saver is, what that looks like on both sides, that can be a really interesting thing to discuss. Andy, are there other easy topics to discuss before the relationship gets too serious?
Yeah, you know, a couple of things you can talk about is how your family, like how did your parents handle things? Did they divide up the responsibilities, or did one person make all the decisions? That's going to give you an idea of how that person expects those financial matters to happen. You know, another good thing to kind of talk about is financial habits. You know, say, here's what I think are my good financial habits and what are my bad financial habits, and see if your partner agrees. And then you can also talk about the ones that are annoying to each other. But if you can solve those things, because if you don't, they're going to come up later and it's going to be a lot worse to discuss.
Yeah, it's interesting to think you know your financial blind sides, but then to open that up to your partner and go, what do you think mine are? Just
exactly.
Don't ask the question if you're not ready for the answer.
Exactly.
What are some of the times that couples might disagree about these money matters, Amy?
Well, one of the biggest ones is spending money without talking to the other one. So, you know, some people are like, you know, you can spend $1,000, I don't care, we're all good in it. Another person may say, hey, if I'm going to spend over $100, we need to talk. So that first thing is to make sure you have that safe to spend amount. Like, how much can I spend without asking you?
Right.
If you have that ahead of time, then you should never be in trouble for spending that amount of money. And that's going to change over time.
That's smart. You know, my wife is very much, she takes care of the checkbook, the bills. I'm kind of more big picture strategy with taxes and investments. But we have had that conversation that has been really helpful to say, hey, if you're going to spend or deposit this much, hey, just let me know. Just send me a text. Something that simple can eliminate a lot of future friction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Andy, what are your keys for couples to have financial harmony that leads to relational bliss?
To relational bliss. Well, I mean, I think the first thing is to start out is just to talk about some of the major things that are going to happen. So, how is decisions going to be made? You know, is it going to be equal or not? And if you're okay with one person making all the decisions, that's fine. Everybody has their own thing. But if you want it to be equal, regardless of how much each person makes, you need to have that discussion. But then also importantly, who's going to be responsible for the day-to-day? No one wants to be the, you know, have to just take it over. Hey, if you're okay with paying all the bills and keeping everything up, that's great. But the other person may say, hey, I want to be involved, or no, I don't want to be involved. So working through those things are important. And then just making sure you set up a time to talk about money. Because you may have goals that you set when you're 25 and 30, but when you get to 40, those may have changed. So make sure you both agree. So compromise is probably the thing that's most important. It can't be about you winning or your significant other winning. It has to be about the team winning.
It's got to be us, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes, Andy, that can be really hard if you don't know where to start.
Exactly.
Tell us about, briefly, what the experience is like to have a Forum Credit Union financial advisor come in and guide those kind of conversations.
Yeah, that's a really good thing, is if you sit down with one of our financial advisors, they're going to put together a plan. So it may be about paying for kids' education and like kind of put it together a budget. A lot of times couples don't put together a budget, and that's really important, so you can see where your money's going, and then you can kind of set those goals and say what it's going to take to get there, and then you may change your goals, which is great, because you're saying, I'm not willing to give up, you know, having 3 vacations a year just so I can do this. I want my 3 vacations. So you make other adjustments.
You got to have those conversations. To have someone there to help mediate that can be so helpful. Andy, this advice is so valuable. We really, really appreciate you coming on, and thanks for sponsoring the show too. We appreciate you.
Thank you.